Russia's attack on Ukraine has already impacted financial markets around the world. And here there are fears it will have consequences for both the economy and our personal finances.
So Ben's taking a look at that for us this morning. The impacts are pretty much immediate and possibly long-term and mid-term.
Yeah, and it all affects the cost of living. I'll explain how. But there are a few things financial markets dislike more than uncertainty, chaos, instability. Russia's invasion of Ukraine, well, it delivers all three. And worryingly, that predictable market turmoil is very soon going to have an impact on you and me. Good morning to you. It is the oil and gas moves in particular that are the most worrying. A barrel of crude oil now costs more than $100. That is the highest level in 7 years. And motoring groups are warning that we are looking at petrol price increases. Look at that, £1.55 a litre could be a reality soon. And that would mean filling up the tank, setting you back £85. But here's the thing, not much of the UK's oil actually comes from Russia, just 6%. So you may well ask, why are we still going to be paying so much more at the pump?
It's because of the amount of oil and gas that Russia provides to global markets. And because oil and gas are both globally traded commodities, the price is set on a global scale rather than a local scale in the UK. So Russia provides around about 40 to 50% of Europe's gas, which obviously is a lot bigger than it does for the UK, and around about 20 to 30% of Europe's oil. So it's a big player when it comes to oil and gas within Europe as a whole.
Now, we should say this isn't a supply problem yet. There's plenty of oil out there, but the high wholesale cost means we will end up paying more. And it's not just petrol. At one point yesterday, the wholesale cost of gas rose by more than 60%, ending the day up by a third. That remains below the super high levels we saw in December, but it still spells bad news for household bills. The energy price cap is already going up from £1,200 to nearly £2,000 in April. One bank now thinks that in October, the cap will go up to an eye-watering £3,200. Then you've got food prices. Ukraine is nicknamed the breadbasket of Europe because of the amount of grain and wheat that it produces and exports. The UK doesn't import much of that because we produce so much ourselves. So again, no supply issue, but there is a price issue. Global costs of all sorts of raw food products have gone up, and that could feed into the cost of living.
I think this is one of those situations where what we're reading in the news headlines is going to be felt by the average household relatively quickly. So at the moment, we're expecting inflation to peak around 7.5% in April, largely due to the increase in energy prices. Depending on how severe the sanctions are, the extent of the impact of that on energy prices, it wouldn't be surprising to see inflation of around 10% in the major European economies. And I wouldn't be surprised if that was feeding into the numbers as recently as the beginning of spring.
Now, we've seen increased economic sanctions against Russia, and there have been calls to go even further. But make no mistake, the toughest measures will also hurt our economy. As Nina was saying just there, the reality is households already struggling will feel the impact of this, and they will feel it soon. And Charlie and Naga, the other point to make is there is a bit of a double whammy effect, not just in household bills and fuel costs, but if businesses feel those increased costs too, you'll find that will eventually be passed on to us in the prices we pay for things.
Which we've seen already before this. Yeah, Ben, thanks very much.